I just want to make stuff out of wood. As hard as it is to make time to be in the shop, I can't afford to be sidelined by back pain. And sometimes lifting heavy things or being in awkward positions is unavoidable. I want to share with you the tips I've discovered that help me avoid back pain so I can keep doing what I love to do. I'm almost 40 years old. Some of my viewers are younger and some are older, but I think this advice is indispensable for anyone who wants to keep woodworking for a long period of time. First of all, when bending over to pick something up, all of the movement should come from hinging at the hips and knees, not from excessively bending the spine. The common advice is to lift with your legs and not your back. I still haven't figured that one out. For me, a more useful cue is to focus on the hips, specifically where your hips are in relation to your head and where they are in relation to the load, which is whatever it is that you're trying to pick up. When you're standing straight up, your hips and your head are vertically aligned, so there's no stress on your back. As soon as you start to bend over, your hips go out behind you and your head goes forward, creating an angle in your back. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it's often unavoidable, but it's something to be conscious of. The more this angle increases, the greater the stress on your back. When you bend over, imagine that you're creating a lever that lengthens the farther your hips and head go out of alignment. And unlike other levers, this lever is not working in your favor. The most important thing to keep in mind is that the closer your hips stay to the load at all times, the easier and more ergonomic your lift will be. It starts when you're setting up to pick something up. You don't want to be standing too far from the load. You want to get it right under you, as close to your hips as possible. Then, as you bend down to pick it up, your body will naturally follow a pattern that distributes the effort evenly across all of the large muscle groups of your body. As you're lifting, keep the load as close to your hips as possible and get your hips back under you as quickly as you can. The farther the load is from your center of gravity, the more you're suffering from bad leverage. Give it a try for yourself and see. Also, if your initial stance is too narrow, when you bend down to pick up the load, your knees will hit your arms and you'll be forced to double over at the waist. It's better to start out with a stance that allows you to get your arms down between your legs, which keeps the load close to your body throughout the lift. Keep these concepts in mind because we'll see them come up later. Bending over is often unavoidable, and even if you use perfect form, if you bend over all day, you can still get a sore back. It's a good idea to find ways to do things that avoid bending over. A frequent scenario for me is when I have a tool plugged into an extension cord and I want to unplug it to plug into another tool. One way is to bend over, grab the plug, and unplug it. A better way is to grab the cord where it's coming out of the tool and use it to pull the plug up toward you so you don't have to bend over. In this way, a little forward thinking can save a lot of stress on your body. This leads me to the next segment, which is shop organization. Here's an example where I have room for improvement. I keep this planer, which weighs 92 pounds, on a bottom shelf, and it's very awkward every time I have to pull it out to use it. What I should do is build a stand for it with wheels so I don't have to pick it up, and that it's always at a good level for work. Putting things on wheels so you can roll them around will keep you from having to pick things up all the time. Try to keep the things you use most at a higher level, whether on shelves or in drawers, so you don't have to bend down to get your most frequently used items. I recently made this rolling tool cart that keeps my most frequently used tools close at hand and at a comfortable level to minimize bending over. If you're interested, there's a video on my channel that shows how I made the tool cart and the features that it has. Aside from lifting technique, the most important thing you can do to save your back is to have your workbench at the right height. You want to have your workbench at a height that allows you to work without bending over, keeping your hips under you and your back vertical. This might depend on your height and the type of work that you do. For me, the perfect height for a workbench is around 3 feet tall. If you're of average height, a typical table is going to be way too short. This includes any type of table designed to be used with chairs for sitting. Let's look at a dining room table of typical height. It's a little under 31 inches. This small difference of 5 or 6 inches versus my workbench makes a huge difference in my back angle while I'm working, as you can see here. I'll demonstrate how it looks when I do the same task at my workbench versus a low table. Even a small angle in your back will lead to pain if you're working at a table for many hours. I don't sit down at my workbench, but many people do. I would recommend having a workbench that allows you to get your legs and stool underneath it so you're able to get close to the work. The farther away you are, the more back angle you'll have. The height of your workbench will depend on the height of your stool and the type of work you're doing. So you need to experiment and find what's comfortable for you. Probably the worst thing you can do is work off of the ground. I did this a lot when I first started, but I almost never do it anymore if I can avoid it. It's very stressful for the back as well as the knees. I was recently forced to when I made this 16-foot picture frame for a client who's an artist. Due to the size of the frame, I had to work off of the ground for most of the project, and I was feeling it for a couple weeks afterward. If you're enjoying this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. It's free to do, and it just means that my videos are more likely to appear in your feed when you're scrolling YouTube. Coming up, I'll have videos on building a soundproof workshop from the ground up, making and installing custom doors, and restoring a table built by my great-grandfather. You won't want to miss it. Standing on a hard surface puts more pressure on your feet, which is then transferred up through all of your joints. If you feel pain in your joints or back after standing in your shop for long periods, consider putting down a rubber mat on the floor. It seems trivial, but a lot of people swear by it. These puzzle piece style mats work well and are easy to adapt to your workspace. Standing on a mat might make your workbench feel lower if it's not also on the mat. You'd be surprised, but I felt my workbench noticeably lower even with this 3/4 inch mat. Something to plan for. If you use mats, please be aware that the edge can create a trip hazard. Having a strong back and flexible joints goes a long way toward preventing back pain. I personally find that doing exercises that strengthen my back helps me feel better while I'm working. I don't want to turn this into a fitness video, so I'll just show you a few that I personally like, and you can look them up if you see one that you're interested in. The common theme is that they all feature hinging at the hip and strengthen the hamstrings, glutes, and muscles of the back. I also find that stretching gives me relief. Most hamstring stretches involve bending over, which can feel stressful on the back for some people. This stretch, known as hamstring flossing, is a great way to stretch your hamstrings without putting stress on your back. Hold your thigh as close to a 90-degree angle as you can, and straighten your leg as much as you can until you feel a good stretch. Slowly repeat the movement. It's important to keep your foot in a neutral or pointed position. Stretching the hip flexors is often overlooked, but I find it very helpful. The hip flexors are muscles on the front of your body that cross the hip. If you want to make it more challenging, you can reach back and grab your foot. If you're new to exercise, please check with your doctor or a personal trainer before starting an exercise routine. These are just my humble suggestions for the things that have made a difference for me. I've been doing manual labor jobs for most of my life, but I know I have some viewers who have been doing this stuff since before I was born and have a lifetime of experience to draw upon. I'd like to start a discussion in the comments. If you have any valuable tips that you figured out that have helped you to reduce back pain, please share so we can all benefit and continue in the craft that we love. Thank you for spending your valuable time watching my video. I hope you've gotten something of value from it as well. See you next time.